Is this truly the end of Speed Duels? Let's talk about it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, guys? It's Yugi Bros, and today we're going to talk about quite possibly the end. Hopefully it's not, but it's come to my attention as of recent. There's just not any more Speed Duel stuff going on. Now, that doesn't include the giant card events at big events. That doesn't include the online events that we have all over the place. But Konami doesn't seem like they want to go any further. And I feel like the ban list or limited list, the Speed Duel events only limited list, is the first indication of this. And that's because for a while now, after every mainstream Speed Duel release set, not a Speed Duel tournament pack, but a box set, we've had a limited list update. Except for the most recent one, the Midterm Destruction box. This came out in the end of March, and I expected a list anytime during April, but the last time we got a list was January 10th when we got the list that banned the first ever card in Speed Duels in the skill My Precious Queen, and we have not had an update since then, and I'm starting to think it's because Konami might be done. As of late, they've been trying to push other side events more than Speed Duels, which understandably so. Edison's been huge in the community. They're trying to push Plant Synchro too, like the 2011-2012 format with Reborn Tengu in it and Synchros, like that format. At this point, I think Speed Duels is on its way out, and the lesser tournament turnouts as of late probably allude a little bit to that. It's unfortunate because obviously Speed Duels has been a big part in my life as well as many others, and if this is in fact the end, well, I just don't know really how to go from here. Another indication is that we don't have a new set announced. And after the Duelist of Shadows box, which was essentially GX Box 3, there was a bit of a silence for, I think it was like a full month, and then the Streets of Battle City got announced. But it's been more than a month since the release of the Midterm Destruction box, and still we have nothing confirmed for the latter part of the year. So sadly, I think we are slowly coming to an end here on the Speed Duel side of things. Which is why I feel like this is the perfect time to announce the Seal of Orichalcos box! If, they wanted to make that. I'm not saying they are, and, it's not confirmed or anything like that. If anything, I just think it'd be a really cool idea. We've already done Battle City twice. We should probably move on to the next season of normal Yu-Gi-Oh! If we don't want another GX box.
Pay no attention to the Streets of Battle City title in the top right corner.
No? Nothing, Konami? Oh, okay. Well, we tried, right? We tried. I think this would be the perfect design for the next box. If you go that arc and you go the Waking the Dragons cards, you could do so much with that. So let's talk about some of the cards that we could definitely see if we had an Orichalcos box. Well, let's start it off with Old Faithful, the Seal of Orichalcos. I think this card would be fine. I think this card would be kind of a solid choice in a lot of decks. There's a lot of beatdown decks that I could think of that could use this card effectively. You could put Jiroi Gumo with this at 2700, and that's kind of scary if you think about it. All monsters you control gain 500 attack once per turn. If this card would be destroyed by card effects, it's not. While you control 2 or more face-up attack position monsters, your opponent cannot target the monsters with the lowest attack. Still really, really strong as well. Something with Jiroi Gumo, for example. If this card is activated, it destroys all special summon monsters you control, and you can't special summon from the extra deck while it's on the field. But, that's fine, right? There's enough decks in Speed Duels that don't need to do that to be effective. So I think this card would be really strong in the game for sure. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to play something like this. I think this card would be actually pretty cool. And how awesome would it be to say that the meta of Speed Duels is Orichalcos? I don't know. That just sounds really cool to me. Because it never was really relevant in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! And by the time it came out in the TCG, it was very past its prime at that point. Shruniros is another card. I'm not going to read every single card that I have listed here. Obviously, the Eye of Timaeus, the Claw of Hermos, and the Fang of Critias would be your selling points, so to speak. I don't agree with the whole, if you get 8 secret rares in your box, 3 of them are guaranteed. I don't agree with that, but I definitely think all 3 of these would get secret rares, as well as the seal. But again, I wouldn't want them to be guaranteed. I'd want the secrets to all have the same amount of weight to pull them, you know. Then you have the legendary knights Timaeus, Hermos, and Critias as well. I think these are all fine for the game, as well as Legend of a Heart, which lets you bring out Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny. I think these would all be probably fine. You know, they are kind of crazy, but you have to go through hoops to get to them. And then there's the other fusion monsters that go with each of them. Amulet Dragon and Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Time Magic Hammer, Goddess Bow, Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword, Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, Tyrant Burst Dragon, Destruction Dragon, which wasn't in the show, but it does work with the Fang of Critias, and Ring of Destruction. You'd have to add Ring of Destruction as well. Doom Virus Dragon is another one. That would include us adding good old Crush card, which I'll get to in a second. Mirror Force Dragon, we'd have to add Mirror Force to the game. But like, all of those I don't feel like would be insane. I mean, you have to increase the power level of the game at some point, and like I said, you have to go through extra hoops to get to these things. So would it be the end of the world? I guess we'd have to wait and see. And then I have two other generic cards here that I'll talk about with the generic cards in a second, and that is Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon and Dragon Master Knight, which both saw anime. All of the cards that I'm about to list here were from the anime series Waking the Dragon arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ipira. I don't think this is too insane to throw in the game. If it's summon, draw a card, you can only use it once per turn. Thunder Dragon. By itself, it's just a discard outlet for other things. I don't think this is too crazy, but I do understand it makes a lot of the skills that say discard a card a lot more relevant. Because you could pitch this, add 2 more copies, and then pitch 1 for the other, or pitch 2 for, you know, whatever. But it does thin the deck a little bit. Machior the Destructor, with its errata, I feel like would probably be fine in the game. Wadapan is alright. Injection Fairy Lily, I think this could be kind of crazy, because you'd be essentially paying half for its effect to get it 34 for once. I don't think that's too insane with all the stuff we have now. Holding Arms. The Karibo Brothers, oh my god, this would be an insane fun deck to play in Speed Duels, and you could, with skills, you could make anything that was arguably unplayable playable. So Curry Babylon and Curry Bandit are both here. Blue Flame Swordsman, Electromagnetic Turtle, the Guardian Monsters, Guardian Dread Scythe, Eatos, Celestial Sword Eatos. Down here I have Guarded Treasure, Gravity X Growl, Guardian Growl, Rod of Silence Keyist, and Guardian Keyist. And I also have Butterfly Dagger Elma down here. I don't think we'd probably get this just because of the dumb loops you can do with it, but it does exist as an option. We did get Dandelion, but Dandelion obviously in a controlled environment is probably a less busted than what you can do with this, but I digress. Going through even further here, we have Lord of the Red and Paladin of Dark Dragon for Red Eye support. We have Paladin of White Dragon for Blue Eye support. We have Card of Demise, which I don't know if is probably too good for Speed Duels. It probably honestly should be down here in the options that were in the anime, but I think are probably too strong for Speed Duels. Harpy Ladies would get support in Phoenix Formation and Featherstorm, but probably shouldn't add Featherstorm to Speed Duels. Then you have cards like Dragon Nails, which is just generically pretty good. Question, which is interesting, definitely could be an interesting card for sure. Summon Dice, Berserker Soul. These were all cards from the anime, from Waking the Dragons, that I just think would be kind of hilarious to see in the game. Soul Rope, Hidden Soldiers, Time Seal to round it out here. And then, like I said, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, and a few others for these cards. In the banned section, which, you know, I would argue probably shouldn't be in Speed Duels, you have Elma, you have Soul Charge, which definitely probably shouldn't be in Speed, though the 1000 per is stronger here because you only have 4000 and you're still not getting your battle phase, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking it is, but I don't know. Soul Charge is just scary to me in general. Royal Decree is not banned, but I think in Speed Duels, I don't know, this might be too strong. It might not be, it might be fine. I guess I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on that one. Crush Card Virus. Oh god. So the errata is really worse than the original, so maybe it's fine. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the virus cards being Speed Duels in general, but maybe Crush Card has a place with the errata since it now is arguably the weakest besides Grinning Grave Virus. Harpy's Featherstorm, like I said, probably just shouldn't be in Speed Duels, but it would give Harpies a huge boost. And then Gravity Bind. It's a toss-up. I would say don't put it in until you give us something like XYZ's. But this was a card, nevertheless, that was in the anime as well. But there's just a lot of different good cards here, and a lot more that you could choose from too that I didn't mention. As well as, you know, they always do buffs from like the Legendary Duelist series and the Battles of Legend series that eventually show up in here as well. So you could definitely do more with a box like this. And obviously, I think this would get a lot more attention from the community as far as both Speed Duels and regular goes, because when regular fans heard that we were going back to Battle City, they were kind of like, well, why don't we get Awaken the Dragon arc, or why don't we get the Tem arc or something like that, right, for like DM Yu-Gi-Oh! And I understand like the rest of the fans want synchros because that would be the next step. I understand Konami's reason to stay away from that, to try to keep this on a level that is easier for new players to just grasp right away. Though I don't think Synchros and XYZs really pushes the envelope on that one. I understand their logic with just staying back, but if you're going to stay back, then you should do the arcs that you haven't done yet. And clearly you've done that with GX, you have 4 boxes to prove it, but when it comes to normal DM Yu-Gi-Oh, we've just stuck strictly to Battle City, so why not branch out, do the Orichalcos box? I don't know, I think this would be a huge success for Speed Duels, but guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is the end of Speed Duels? If it is, how do you feel? How do you feel it went? Do you think it was fine? Do you think they needed to add more? I probably will make another video. I've got a lot of thoughts on this, and so just dropping them fresh off the cusp. I've got a lot of thoughts when it comes to the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my personal opinion, I think it flopped because they just didn't support it enough. I think if they had more regionals for it, if it was its own format, I think that would have been the way to go about it in the future. But maybe I'll make a video about how I would forward my vocations into Speed Duels going forward if I was in command. I don't know. If you want to see that video, if you want to see my thoughts there on that idea, let me know down below. And but anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next video.
For more amazing Speed Duel content, subscribe to Yu-Gi Bros. It's time to duel!